Rajiv, are you audible? Would you like to say hi now?
Hey everyone. Yes, I was still working on my background. That's why. Hi everyone. Good afternoon. I hope all of you are staying healthy, staying safe, and staying happy. Welcome to this launch. Thank you for joining in.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Rajiv.
Background.
So it's now 3 o'clock. Your backdrop doesn't matter. Don't worry. It's a nice green, healthy backdrop. So
Hey everyone. Yes, I was still working on my background.
Yeah. Green is for health. And you can all open your videos and share. I mean, because it's going to be interactive. First 10, 15 minutes, we will tell you the story of why we've created this. Hi, Jeevan. Welcome.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah. Welcome. All well. So we will give the background on why this product, what this product, and how each of us have come together to create this product. So let's start with for Is Progress. Murali, would you like to start? Being the senior most among us, not in age, of course.
Thank you, Guy. Thank you, Rajiv, for creating this amazing opportunity on the World Health Day, because ultimately it is health is wealth, and there is a day for health also, World Health Day. So this day reminds all of us that health is the most important priority that we need to focus upon in this ever-changing post-pandemic world. So I thank all of you to join this special SENSEability launch program, and thanks to my co-creators, Ignatius Raphael and Rajiv Embert, who has also joined us, and Jeevan, thank you very much for supporting us. And thanks to all our friends and followers who has joined us live in this session. And those who are watching the YouTube live or the recorded version, warm welcome. Let us focus on health today. Over to you, Iggy.
Thank you so much, Murali. So, as Murali rightly said, this is lucky that the World Organization has decided that we have to focus on health is something which is really, really important. We don't realize at all because we're so busy in our daily life. And I must thank each of you who have taken out that half an hour to come out and look in to see what this is about. Because without health, productivity is not there. This program itself was conceived because people are learning. But what happens to their learning if their energy fails, if their breath fails, if their health fails? And all of this has 5 basic components, which you will discover over the next 10 minutes on what are the 5 pillars which helps us to hold our health up and our productivity. Without this health, productivity doesn't work out. So Rajiv, your take on why you have come into this program.
Absolutely. I mean, having worked with people, and especially in the post-COVID and during this pandemic era, health, immunity, all these things are important, right? And I don't have to lecture all of us. All of us know. But the real, I come from a state which is supposedly the most literate state in the whole country. But this is also the place wherein the diabetic prevalence is more than double of the national average, right? So the problem is not necessarily lack of information or lack of knowledge of what it takes to become healthy. The problem is in terms of implementation. The problem is in terms of, or rather, overflow of information making life difficult. Sustainability, managing it and doing it in the right manner. So I think that's why it is extremely relevant time to even talk about health, and for people who actually can make a difference. Because if we make a difference to a person's health, we are actually making an impact to the whole family, not just to that person. And it feels so great and good to do that. And I think it's part of social service also, if you really think about it.
Absolutely. That's Jeevan from Zen Guru, and they have a health vertical where they have many coaches and they're promoting health as a topic in 7 segments. Jeevan, would you like to speak about that?
Yeah, thanks, Ignatius. Thanks for giving me this opportunity, and welcome to all of you on this wonderful World Health Day celebrations. Health, as all of us have said, is a very important pillar amongst the 7 pillars of life. We measure success in different pillars of our success parameters, and health is one of the most important aspect of it. Without without this pillar, everything else collapses, so to say. Having said that, what is more pertinent, I think, in the current context is that in the past 2 years, the various complications which have arisen due to the pandemic, the medical fraternity really hasn't had the time to analyze the situation and understand the true deep impacts of the COVID pandemic on the human body. And hence, we have not yet completely detoxified ourselves from the impacts of COVID. And that's very critical. So from my perspective, it's important that we give more focus to making sure that all those impacts are recognized in whichever symptoms or information we can gather and shared with our healthcare professionals so that actions can be taken immediately. I think that's my take on this particular day, that we should exchange more information about what are the visible impacts that we see in the post-COVID sort of situation, and share it with our respective HCPs so that they can act on it, so that long-term effects are prevented. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Jeevan. Very well said. Post-COVID, basically today we are living in this VUCA world. That is, it is volatile. We don't know what changes are going to happen. It's unpredictable. It is complicated. It's a complex situation. It's not something simple. And A is ambiguous. So this VUCA world is what we are living in today. Started with COVID. Today we have probably a third world war type of a situation. And even among companies and organizations, coaches, we're all working people. We are constantly faced with uncertainty. So what happens is we are working harder and harder to stay at the same place. And we are not taking care of our foundational legs which hold us up. And these foundational legs are what is being addressed through sensibility. Sensibility is sense ability. Sense is sleep. First S is for sleep, E is for exercise, N is for nutrition. The second S is for swara, which is a breath, and E is for energy. So energy, breath, nutrition, exercise, and sleep are so critical for us to be able to even take the right decisions. Because if any one of this is lacking, our energy is down, our decision making is down, focus is down, and that affects our results. And we realize that we need to get people to practice the right habits that will help them get there. And that is how the three of us came together, Murali, Rajiv, and me, because Murali is a master of breath. I mean, happiness, of course, but he is a master of breath. So he understands swara. I've learned swara from him some 10 years back, I think. And there is so much that we can understand. That itself can be one whole course, but we combine these 5 elements, which is very, very crucial for this. And Rajiv is into exercise and nutrition. It's into medical fitness. So he looks at the parameters and looks at what is the right exercise, what is the right nutrition. So it's personalized, it's customized for that person. So this 90-day journey will take a person through a kind of a redesign of their habits without moving away from their core. Because each of us have a core inclination, and that inclination needs to be protected. At the same time, you should be able to, I forgot to tell about my vertical, which is sleep, of course, which is de-stresses you. You need that break and you need to sleep right. There is a method where if you utilize your sleep right, you would be able to get phenomenal results. In fact, Thomas Alva Edison, the creator of 1,000 and odd patents, utilized sleep to become more productive. So it is possible to utilize it rather than look at it as a disturbance, which most of us used to look at earlier, but today people are aware and they are taking care of it. So I would like each Murali to start with what his journey was. So give a bit of his journey and what drew you to SENSEability. What made you join this? Because this is something I'm sure everybody would like to hear. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Yogi. What drew me towards SENSEability is something very simple. The whole world is filled with 5 elements, and we have 5 sense organs to understand the whole world. And there is one thing which is really important, the air going in and coming out of your nostril, the swara. Okay. And since I teach swara yoga also at the same time, the nostril dominance of our life. When you said the word SENSEability, I realized health is our responsibility. And since health is our responsibility, because we can't, I think none of your spouse or a child can take care of your headache. No? If you have a headache, you have to only live with it. If you have a disease, we only have to live with it. No? So similarly, the breath also, you only can breathe for yourself. No one else can breathe for you. You can't delegate that job to someone else. Okay. Since I am a great delegator of work, one thing we are not able to delegate, only one thing is breathing. So it means like how you can take charge of your whole life by becoming controller of your own breath, master of your own breath, then you become super responsible person. So similarly, all of us can become successful when we are responsible. So the responsibility is something which is there for all the leaders in the world. So when you said SENSEability, immediately it said, wow, what an amazing way to present how you can actually become responsible for your own life, of your own health, of your own productivity, of your own success. So that made me really curious on asking you, hey, Iggy, what is the full form of SENS? And you immediately gave a beautiful acronym starting with sleep, which is the most important element, because if you don't sleep for one day, next day you are the most groggiest man in the world. And if you can't sleep for 2 days, you can't continue the next day. No? And if you don't sleep for 7 full days, you become a fully blown mental. So sleep is that much essential. And similarly, exercise and nutrition, because whatever we are in our life is based on what we are eating and the type of food we are eating. And the basic 15-minute or 30-minute exercise keeps the entire machine active. And then you said the S stands for swara. I said, wow, that is really important, because many of us take swara for granted, no? Because we are breathing 21,600 times a day and we take it for granted. We don't even worry about that. But since you brought in the most important element, that let's take control of your swara, and thereby the energy of your entire body, the physical body and your mental body and your emotional energies, that one acronym really attracted me towards this entire curriculum that you've designed, which provides a holistic success, productivity and health for all the corporate leaders, managers, business owners across the globe. So that is what actually made me to get attracted towards this entire concept that you have created, Iggy. My wishes to you for creating and this designing this entire stuff. Happy to be part of this particular journey in bringing more energy and awareness of how we can become more successful and happier. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And wishes to all of us. We are going to take this forward. And yeah, thank you. Thank you, Murali, so much. You didn't speak of your happiness journey. Anyway, if you start, there's quite a long thing, so I'm sure you are trying to...
I don't know where to start, where to stop. It's a huge ocean. So I just stay only with the SENSEability.
So thank you for that. And we'll open to questions in about another 5 minutes. So thank you so much for your intro. Next, we'll have Rajiv. What drew you to SENSEability?
Oh, it was extremely sensible, especially as I said, in the times that we are in, right? Mm-hmm. We talk about, and you already gave an intro about medical fitness. People have gotten extremely confused in the last 2 years, and rightfully so, because our definition of health and our definition of fitness are often questioned with the kind of sad news that we have heard, right? Let it be Puneet Rajkumar, Siddharth Shukla, Shane Warne. So these are seemingly fit people. And we started thinking that, okay, so what exactly is health? And is there a point in doing these exercises? What is the point in doing these eating right? Look at them. These were the questions that had come to me. And then I realized that it's high time, especially in times like this, wherein we are living in a pressure cooker environment, right? The job is at stake. Financially, there are difficulties, work from home, everything together. We are literally in a pressure cooker environment. So I think it was sensible to actually look at it by combining all aspects of becoming healthy. And you already know, and for the rest of people who haven't heard me speak, I keep saying that 99% of becoming healthy has primarily three modules, which is eat right, be exercise, do exercises, sleep well, manage stress, and manage the breathing. Breathing is also related to the stress, that part of it, the parasympathetic sympathetic system. So everything just really fit into the idea. So when you approach, I was like, okay, I'm bang on it, and this is definitely something that we need to speak on it. So that's how I'm here, and thank you for having me. It's lovely, and again, once again, all the very best to you and to all of us, and I hope we'll be able to make a dent in the universe.
Thank you so much, Rajiv. So in just 2 minutes, I'll open to questions. And those of you who want to ask questions, please type Q. So I'll call your name out and we can then speak. Okay. So in the meanwhile, I'll just give you an overview of SENSEability itself as a program. It's a 90-day program. And in 90 days, we have daily a lesson bite, which will come to you as a daily message. Other than that, there's a library of learning content available online. Weekly, we'll have Q&A, because every week you will have, it's a drip content, right? Every week you will have, every day you would have a schedule. So you will follow the schedule and where you will learn and practice on your own. Weekly, you will meet us and there'll be a Q&A. So depending on the topic, which will be put out to you, there'll be a weekly topic. Then there would be a monthly masterclass. That's for 90 minutes. Again, 60 minutes will be masterclass and 30 minutes again will be Q&A. So this is how the whole 90 days has been programmed. And we will be able to, there'll be a tracker, there'll be a journal given to you. So the idea is you can learn at your pace. At the same time, you can meet us at a convenient time, mutually convenient time, and you can get all your doubts cleared. We can put together a buddy system, which will help each other, comply. And then, because at the end of the day, it's about practice. What you learn is useless. It's whether you're practiced. So you'll make your own routine, which you will verify whether it's right with us. And that will be implemented by you. And over 90 days is when your change becomes permanent. Because this is something about transformation. It's not knowledge-based. It's about you experiencing your own, relaxation levels, your own energy levels, your own health. You will find your skin glowing. You will find that you're able to relate better with people. You're not getting angry. There is so much of change which happens in our program, in our individual programs, and we've combined it as one to make it really powerful. And that is how SENSEability itself has been formed, because each of these elements, the 5 elements, are so critical for our happiness, our success, our productivity, our money, our health, relationships, you name it. Every aspect of our life is impacted by these 5 things. And that is a core we are working on. So let me open it out for questions. Those of you who would like to ask questions, please type Q. I don't know if I missed anybody who's typed Q. You please type Q. That way I will ask you. Anita, I'm looking for a fat loss program urgently. Okay, I think Rajiv, that's your Q. You can answer that.
Yeah, I'm glad you said fat loss. But let's just differentiate the idea of weight loss and health. Okay, you can't put an equal to symbol between these. Look around, you would see people who are not overweight, who are actually not overweight, well within BMI range, still diabetic. We know people who are hypertensive, not overweight, right? While weight is definitely something that we should be looking at. I'm glad you said that, and you should look into it if you think it is an important aspect. But that alone doesn't signify health, all right? And obviously, I'm not going to give you Gyanbaji lecture on what it requires to do all that. Be physically active, eat right, and be healthy, sleep well, manage your overall lifestyle. You would reach there. We are obviously there if you need some sort of a hand holding and help with regards to this. Just one part, a few things to probably make you and rest of everyone here to think. People think that eating healthy is eating on time. What if you're eating on time and if you're eating McDonald's burger? For sure, I'm going to eat healthy food. I'm going to eat homemade food. But instead of having 4 chapati and a dal, you're having 10 chapati and dal. It doesn't matter how healthy the food is. So eating healthy doesn't stop at eating on time or eating healthy food. It also matters how much did you eat, right? So these small, sensible inputs are extremely important, right? Again, I want to harp on the sensibility aspect of it. Same thing, exercises are good for the body, but would you go in and do a lot of weightlifting exercises post pregnancy? No, right? If you're having piles or inguinal hernia operation done at least 3 to 5 years back, shouldn't go in and lift heavy weights. A person having arthritic knee should not go for a running, jumping, and skipping, right? So apply common sense, sensibility into exercises customized for every single person is extremely important. So I know I'm just answering it from a periphery, but to specifically answer that, I think I would suggest to take a one-on-one discussion and take that. I hope this was helpful for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rajiv. Anita, I hope that answered it. Anita, are you there? I mean, I'm not able to see you now. But I've heard Rajiv earlier also about this, where he says fat loss is basically a byproduct of being healthy. So because you've adopted healthy habits, you automatically notice that you're losing fat and you're looking good and, everything is working out well. So this is something which I'm glad the first question which came itself is about fat loss. How many hours one person must sleep daily? Okay, yeah, thank you for that question. Yeah, so this is something which I was just discussing with someone this morning also, because they get to sleep around 11:30, 12, 12:30, and they wake up around 6:30. Whether, that 6 hours is enough, they're feeling fine, is that okay? Now, the best judge is your body in terms of the National Sleep Foundation gives data. It says for a person above 18, you can sleep between 7 to 9 hours. Below 7 is insomnia. Above 9 is hypersomnia. You're sleeping too much. And you would have also heard the name parasomnia. Parasomnia is those with sleep difficulties while they are sleeping. So hypersomnia is above 9 hours. So that is definitely bad. And below 7 is considered bad for those who are living an active life. Now, if you're a monk who's doing meditation and things like that, you're not leading a stressful life. Because of those practices, you could probably sleep 6 hours, 5 hours, 4 hours, or even 3 hours. Like I think Jaggi says that he can sleep he sleeps only 3 hours. So it is possible for some people to sleep less because of their meditative practice. But those who are in active life, okay, and who are under stress should get at least 7 hours sleep and not more than 9 hours sleep, because that again shows some other issue. 7 to 9 is what it is.
Okay, here's your next question. Your next question is, why do we get a headache when our sleep is less?
Yeah, so this is about blood. See, when you sleep right, the toxin clearing happens, your blood pressure gets regulated, your sugar levels get regulated. There is a lot of hormonal balancing which happens when you sleep at the circadian rhythm. That is 3 to 4 hours after sunset if you go to bed, and you wake up 1 hour before sunrise. You're part of the circadian rhythm. That is, your sleep drive and the circadian rhythm have come together. When this happens, you're balanced. You're at the state of complete balance. Your body will be perfectly fine. But this headache and other things come, either it could be blood pressure related, sugar levels related, and the toxin built up within you, which did not get flushed out because you didn't sleep properly.
Okay, now here's another question asked in the chat box. What is this course you're saying? You mentioned some 90-day course. Can you just explain it one more time?
Yeah. So this 90-day course, typically we are running at this moment with corporates, and later we might offer it to individuals also as groups. It is offered for people who sign up for a 90-day intervention. So from day 1 to day 90, there are daily practices which is part of your daily life. You're sleeping daily, you're eating daily, you're hopefully exercising some bit or having some activity which energizes you. You're breathing daily, and you are feeling your energy on a daily basis. So the senses your daily activities, but just redesigning it in a manner where you feel at 100% peak performance level. Because each of us have a higher level, but we are not experiencing it because of certain habits which has pulled us down. And these 5 pillars is where it attacks some habit which has pulled down this so that it's not working optimally. So we'll work on each of this over 90 days. We're going to work on an online model. Weekly, there would be an online session where there can be Q&A, and monthly, there will be a masterclass, and there'll be recorded videos. So you will learn at your own time, at your own pace, and you'll implement at your own pace. But you will get the course correction over a 90-day. Why 90 days is? Because that is when it becomes permanent. Because there's no point learning something and then you get caught up in your daily grind and you forget it. Okay, if you've installed it over 90 days, it's going to stay with you for life. That is why it is planned like that.
Awesome, Miggy. Thank you. Rajiv, you have a question. How many times should I eat daily? Should I become a vegan, vegetarian, or non-vegetarian? Can you share more ideas on this? Because there's too much of complete myth on all these things.
Right. So, first and foremost, before I answer this question, I am a strong believer of customization. What works for one person need not work for someone else. And I can take examples to tell you that, right? Let's take an example of a person who is diabetic. Okay, for a diabetic person, let's say chronic diabetic. It is sensible to actually divide the carbohydrate intake into specific longer number of durations of meals. Why? Because this will help. In medical terms, it will help you to manage glycemic excursions. Meaning, it will make sure that the blood glucose level doesn't spike up immediately. Right? So for such a person who's chronic diabetic, it is sensible to divide meals into at least 4 meals. Right? Now, there are some people who are extremely busy in their job. They are reasonably fit and fine, no diabetes and all those things. What I would suggest is that have at least 3 meals and a snack in such a case, But be sensible with the timing. Don't have your breakfast at 6 in the morning and lunch at 4 in the evening and dinner at 12 in the night, right? Keep around 6 to 7 hours of gap between 2 meals because there is a chance of the acidic gases forming, gastric juices forming inside stomach, causing gastric ulcers, peptic ulcers, and things like that. So if you are not, if you're doing fasting, intermittent fasting, all those aspects, make sure you're drinking enough amount of water, staying hydrated, etc., and thereby not causing acidity, irritable bowel syndrome, etc. Right? So for a person who is having irritable bowel syndrome, keeping long hours of gap or doing intermittent fasting can actually make the gastric ulcers worse. Right? So there is no specific answer. Listen to the body is extremely important. Right? But for a normal person, at least a 3-meal plan is the sensible approach towards doing it, right? And do not overeat, right? So there is no one way fits all kind of an answer. For a diabetic person, I might say 4 to 5 meal. For a normal person, 3 meal is fine. If you're doing 2 meal kind of a religious reason, fasting or things like that, that's fine, provided you're drinking water, staying hydrated, and being sensible with the amount of the calorie intake, right? Coming to the vegan, vegetarian, non-vegetarian diet. Now, again, when it comes to vegan, see, it depends upon the country that you're living in. For example, did you know in Canada, it is legally mandated for the food and beverages companies to actually fortify the milk which is available in Canada with vitamin D and B12. We can't do that here in India because it's going to be extremely costlier, right? We're still a developing country. We're still trying to pull people out of poverty. So doing that is going to increase the cost of essential items. So it's not possible to do that. So veganism, if it is done in India, one, it is costly. It is not meant for, because we are still talking about a developing country with per capita income much lesser as compared to the developed world. So there are practical difficulties of doing veganism for everyone. And the food that is available also need not be fortified with vitamins and minerals, which a typical vegan might miss out. Okay, B12, etc., being the primary two. Now, vegetarian definitely has its positives because it is filled with fiber It is hence the chances of increased cholesterol is much lower. The chances of diabetes is also much lower. Vegetarian food is always rich in fiber, unlike a non-vegetarian food, right? And non-vegetarian food has its negatives of saturated fat, which can cause cholesterol. You can very easily end up in an extreme calorie surplus, leading to weight gain if you do a non-vegetarian food. If you're not sensible about it, again, the word being sensibility, right? So, again, I'm harping on that word. So but if you're having the point of non-vegetarian food is that meeting protein requirement is comparatively easier than a vegetarian. So again, depending upon conditions. If a person is having uric acid, reduce non-vegetarian food. If a person is having mildly elevated creatinine levels or kidney issues or urine albumin, reduce red meat, reduce protein altogether, right? So, which means non-vegetarian food needs to be really, really reduced, brought down, right? So, the answer to that is that before I would pick and say, take sides, I would say what suits you. That is extremely important. What suits you need not suit someone else.
Thank you, Raju. Excellent. So it's all about customization. Everyone wants custom-made design dress. So obviously, everyone likes the custom fashion designed stuff outside to wear. I think we should all focus on custom-made food also inside also, because food we eat is who we are. Okay, last two questions before we conclude our session. Here's a question to Iggy or Rajiv. What is migraine headache? Is it due to lack of sleep or because of the food we eat? Because he's asking, I need to vomit and recover from that. So what is your thoughts on this migraine headache and how can we handle this?
Yeah, okay. Let me just take the first part of it and then Rajiv can jump in for whether it's food related. The first part basically is whether it is due to sleep is a question. So yes, there are people who had lack of sleep having migraine, but because you've had migraine doesn't mean it is due to sleep. So it is not like A is equal to B, so B is equal to A. It doesn't work like that. All right. So it's possible that there are other reasons. So it's not something that we can jump to a conclusion right away. How I would do in my class when somebody asks me a question like this is, I would ask them to first make a note of what all they've had during the day, what all they've done. So create a log of what you've consumed, what activities you've had, and how you've slept. Because once you have this log over a week or 10 days, you know what is happening because of what. That correlation will come to you. Otherwise, we are assuming things. Most times you assume things. Otherwise, you have to go to a doctor and get yourself tested for what is the core reason. When you do that, then they will be, because they have diagnostics. All right. But to ask me like this and find a reason for it, I find it very difficult to say. And this vomiting kind of points towards food, which is why Rajiv, I think, should come in here for that.
Right. So, see, multiple reasons. Okay. Now, in the name of becoming healthy, if a person wants to lose weight or becoming healthy, the first thing that they demonize is carbohydrates, which is wrong. Okay. It is wrong to say one is better than the other. It is wrong to say one is bad or demonized. You know, both are equally bad. I've seen people who cut down carbohydrates dramatically or cut down food dramatically. What happens? You will go hypoglycemic. What is hypoglycemia? Blood sugar levels falling much below than your minimum required level. If your blood sugar levels fall below 70 or below 80, you get hypoglycemia, you will get a chakkar and you will fall, or you'll get a severe headache. Why is that? Our brain understands only one source of fuel, which is glucose. Okay. So, and which is where does it come from? It comes from carbohydrate. So that's the reason if you get on to reducing carbohydrate dramatically, you get a headache, right? That's what happens. So if you go hypoglycemic, that can lead to migraine, that can lead to headaches. And there is one more thing. There is something called a gut-brain axis. So what is a gut-brain axis? A gut-brain axis is basically how you feel impacts your stomach. Your digestion has an impact on how you feel and all that. It's basically the hypothalamus, adrenal, pituitary adrenal axis, which in medical terms, which has an impact on your digestion and has an impact on your how you feel. So they both are interdependent. One impacts the other one, that impacts this one, right? And that's the reason probably because once you so indigestion can cause headache because of this reason, right? So probably that could be the reason. I mean, to diagnose it better, you probably might need a doctor's consultation and diagnosis. But these are the things that I could immediately think of.
Thank you, Rajiv. I will also share two interesting stories from my life. One is about a little girl. Because of her childhood suppression, there was too much of emotional burden that went deep inside her, and she used to get frequent attack of headache. Then no one was able to find out why, but do you know that if there is a huge amount of emotional suppression happened during your childhood or due to some kind of an emotional trauma, that also causes migraine? And, I taught her specific breathing exercises and specific yoga nidra technique. And after practicing for 3 to 6 months, she is now completely relieved. And whenever she is about to get it, she can quickly get that feeling, the trigger of, yes, I'm going to get the headache. And immediately she does that breathing exercise and that exercise I shared with her. And she is completely able to handle that. That's one case. Another person whom I met was a person who has driven bike for a long time, and because of cervical compression, he used to get migraine headache. And cervical compression also causes a little bit of vomitings. I think both are close by nearby centers also. So for the question that he has asked, if I get a migraine headache and also end up in vomiting, my suggestion is just see whether it's appropriate to check with an orthopedic surgeon to check on the cervical compression or any kind of emotional burden, or as mentioned by Rajiv, on the food or the hormonal changes, because something is causing inside. That's also one reason why all these headaches are. But I think today now a lot of techniques like the practices that we are sharing in our life is helping people to come out of these things. And there are enough proven methods are available today to come out of this. Okay. And I think, Goel, I'll go to the next question. We have flooded with a lot of questions. We're supposed to finish this session in half an hour.
Yeah,
I think we have a lot of questions. Let me address it. Should we avoid rice? Rajiv, the question is for you. Should we avoid rice? All fruits and vegetables in the market are pesticides, are not pesticide free. What can we do to minimize such exposure from these harmful stuff? What is your take on this?
I'll quickly get down to that. I am a Mallu. You asked me to stop eating rice. Not going to happen. Okay? But tell people that rice, if rice is the problem of overweight, diabetes, the entire north of India should not be overweight. Right? And remember, it is not the food, it's the quantity of the food which is the problem. Any food, you eat wheats, but you eat more than what your body needs. It will lead to obesity, it will lead to lifestyle disorders, it will lead to fatty liver and many other conditions. So rice is definitely not the problem. The quantity of rice is the problem, or what else are you having along with the rice is a problem, or how many times are you eating is a problem, or if you are giving enough amount of rest and physical activity to the body is the problem, right? So there can be, so definitely you don't have to avoid rice to become healthy. Of course, if there are certain conditions such as diabetes, rice needs to be managed, not reduced. Okay. Second question, fruits, vegetables, everything that we get are pesticide. I was just reading a recent report. The most pesticide-laden food that we get in India is one, curry leaves. Another one is the coriander leaves. Third one is the green chili. Okay. And the fourth is apple. Okay. So the first three, we can actually have it even in an apartment. Just a small pot will give you all these things, right? You don't need a large courtyard for that. Now for apple, the problem is that you would have noticed that wax which comes off apple, right? What happens is that wax that is actually pesticide mixed and sprayed onto the apple so that it sticks to it even for a couple of months or days, so that that pesticide stays there. So extremely important for these kind of vegetables to peel off the skin, especially for people who are having kidney disorders, diabetic nephropathy, which is serum creatine levels higher, urine albumin higher. Such people should peel off the skin of the vegetables. Are you actually losing antioxidants and everything? Of course you are. When you peel off the skin of the apple, it's supposed to be rich in antioxidants. But what to do? You have to let go of the pesticides, right? So you have to peel it off. So if we have, right now, this is a season of mango. You get good plucked mangoes out your place, organic, is good and have it without two minds about it. But if you're buying it from outside, I mean, there are constraints. We live in a society where we also need to feed 8 billion people. The food production has to be industrialized. So this does happen. What can be done? Again, sensibly, it needs to be done. right? We probably might not be able to get rid of it 100%, but we definitely can reduce it to a great extent, at least by 50% or perhaps more, if you approach it again sensibly. I hope that answers your questions, Kumar.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Excellent, Raji. Thank you. Praveen Gupta is asking, when it comes to sleep, how to ensure decent quality of sleep and how to measure or track it on a daily basis. Is there any specific technology available now?
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Praveen. You've asked specifically decent quality of deep sleep. Okay, so deep sleep is something which is part of 4 stages of sleep. And if you sleep at the right time and for the right duration, you will get enough deep sleep because it's something your body knows. The body is more intelligent than you. As long as you follow the circadian rhythm, you will be able to align yourself and get the right deep sleep. Whether you can measure it, yes, today you have wearables which helps measure. The accuracy, I understand, is between 60 to 75%. But then there is a product called Dozy, which is available in the market. So that's about 93%, and that's put under your mattress. So there are different ways of measuring it, the exact levels of sleep, how many times you sleep, how many episodes you had, all of that can be tracked. But that's not really required because more and more data-driven we go, we are going to get more stressed. So it's better that, sleep is about rest and relaxation. So first, accept things, get your cortisol levels down, de-stress yourself, be comfortable, know that, trust your body, okay, and allow it to go to sleep at its normal time and wake up. When you wake up, if you feel energized, you've got enough deep sleep. That's your measure. Don't go by devices. Don't go by all that data. This is my because that stresses you more and more. You're already completely swamped with data. So let's not add more on these things. That's my humble submission.
That is true. The more you start tracking all these things, your blood pressure will increase now. Okay. Ignorance is bliss in some way or other.
Absolutely.
I think you've covered almost all the questions every day. There's one question. Do we eat natural food more or cooked food by Sandhya Chodia? What would be your suggestion? Is it a combination of both or focus on any one? What should be the right mix?
So it has to be a combination. So when you eat natural food, which is organic food, that's what you mean by natural food, I'm assuming. When you're eating that food and if you're eating it raw, you tend to not miss out on many nutrients, especially heat-sensitive nutrients. For example, polyphenols. Polyphenols are antioxidants, and these are the ones which gives that bright color to a lot of vegetables and fruits. And they are antioxidants, so they reduce inflammation in the body. It kind of neutralizes the free radicals that we get into our body by breathing that polluted air outside, all that things, right? So it neutralizes that. The problem, however, is that with heat, these polyphenols get destroyed. The amount gets reduced, right? And when you cook, especially when you wash and cook, all water-soluble vitamins gets lost. Vitamin B, vitamin C, these are all water-soluble vitamins. So there are certain constraints like that when you cook food, especially when you wash food, cut, wash, and cook food. Now, that being said, it is also, cooking food also makes it easier for us to digest. It also reduces, and there are any microbes or any kind of things, those also gets kind of destroyed. So both has its benefits, right? So I'm not taking side saying natural is better. There are cases wherein you need to cook food, but there are certain cases wherein if you're getting an organic, fresh food outside, if you can, and if you're sure that it is not laden with any pesticides or things like that, just wash it with fresh water and then eat it raw. It is very healthy, provided it is organic, freshly plucked food that you can 100% agree with. Yeah. So again, not taking sides to this.
So can we stick to the combination of 1 week mono diet, 1 week natural diet, 1 week organic as per the thing, and we fast once a month? How is the combination of it? Because our mind is so tuned to eating 3 meals a day. It's like mind clock. So and so hour we need to drink tea. So and so hour without feeling hungry. Also we eat like. So what is your suggestion on this?
I would. So this is very similar to the question wherein people ask me as to what is a good time for exercise. Is it morning? Is it afternoon? Is it evening? I would say the time which will allow you to be consistent and may allow you to do it for a longer duration is the best time for your exercise. right? The same way, if whatever floats your boat, whatever which will allow you to be also have a healthy relationship with food. Counting calories, all that is fine. But if you count calories and write it in a book, I call that book a sin book. Every time that you've eaten, it's like a sin. I have sinned, forgive me. And you're writing 4 dosa, 5 chapati. So, so whatever that will allow you to build a healthy relationship with food. If you think that, for me, it will be extremely stressful to change eating routine every 1 week, as what you said. But if you think for you, it will be all right, go ahead and do that. But again, the word which you see at the background, sensibility, you need to do it sensibly. Then it can be, because all good things in life is actually simple, and becoming healthy is also simple. It just needs some amount of patience, common sense, and sensibility to do that.
Absolutely, Rajiv. One of the most difficult sense not available today is common sense. Okay, rest everything is available a lot, and that is one sensibility that we all need to develop a lot in this chaotic VUCA world. And I think that's the start. The entire program is all about in this ever-changing world of tensions and stress, and we continuously chase behind money and career and success and fame. We miss out on the most important common sensibility, the sense, the taking care of our own sleep or exercise or nutrition or the swara, our breath, or the energy inside this body. So that's the reason this entire course itself is designed. But as of now, this course is offered only at the corporate level, if I'm correct, Iggy. As of now, this program is designed for corporate leaders.
That's right.
Probably later we may come up with for open for everyone also.
Very true.
But I really love the sin journaling. I loved it.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we should all open a diary and name it as sin journaling. And every day you commit a sin, go and write it over there. Okay. Then that will become a secret diary for that. You will all protect it and you will keep it secret. No? That's nice. Thank you, Iggy. Thank you, Rajiv. I believe that was a nice interaction. I hope everyone really enjoyed this entire discussion. And, like this, we have a lot of questions. We have a lot of myths. Lack of awareness is one biggest challenge. And that's the reason why Zen Gurus is also here with us, and who is also working to bring in more health in the entire country. And they are working sincerely behind the scene. And the name of the company, it's called Zen Gurus. Okay, that means they want to bring in all the Zen Gurus in the world and bring silence and Zen into everyone's life. Thank you, Jeevan, for taking this and marketing this and sharing this with more people. Thank you, Jeevan. Thank you.
Murali sir, do you still eat 5 minutes a day, every day? You just eat for 5 minutes till today?
Yes, absolutely. I eat only for 5 minutes. I have a 5-minute eating rule. Why? Very, very simple. Because I'm not able to handle the tongue. So another option is I can handle the time in my control. I have put a rule in my head. Murali, you have 5 minutes. Eat whatever you want. Okay? In 5 minutes, how much you can eat? Huh? So either you have to know how to control the tongue or control the time. I have learned how to control the time.
Lovely.
Thank you, Sandhya, for that question. Thank you.
Awesome.
Okay, so closing remarks by Iggy. Going back to you, Iggy, for closure of the session.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Murali and Rajiv. That was awesome. And I hope thank each and one of you who have come here, because at short notice you turned up. And thank you, Jeevan. In one day you put together something like this.
Welcome.
And I don't put a lot of stress on you, but this is going to help a lot of people. And World Health Day is a perfect day to remind us that we need to invest in our health. So thank you, each one of you, and look forward to seeing you again soon. Murali and Rajiv, any closing words? We can wind up.
Health is wealth. Health is wealth. Let us focus on our health on this World Health Day. And remember, health is not just alone physical. It is mental, it is emotional, and also spiritual. Focus on all the four, like the 4 tires of your car. Inflate it correctly so that the journey of life can be so peaceful and blissful. Rajiv? Back to you, Rajiv.
I already said that we were very... Yeah. I'm audible, right? Yeah, I already mentioned this, that, becoming healthy, becoming fit, managing diseases, all these things takes time. All good things in life takes time. Health is not any different. You just need to be patient, sensible about approach towards doing things. What worked for someone might not work for you, so don't blindly copy that. And if you're healthy, And if you're fit, you're going to be happy. You're going to be more productive. You'll be able to exude more confidence and love and everything around to the people around you. So stay healthy, not just for yourself, but also for your family. Thank you, and wishing you all a very healthy and happy life ahead, years ahead, and let this session be just a harbinger towards all that. Thank you, Iggy, for having me, and thank you, Guru Murali. It's always a privilege to be standing next to you and then talking and addressing people. So thanks a ton for all that you do and all the mentoring that you have done. Thank you, Iggy. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajiv.
Thanks.
Thank you, Jiva. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye. See you, everyone. Thank you.